good to see you again.
Yeah,
and first team to ever do this in London, back-to-back weeks. How has the week gone?
I think it's been awesome, and obviously Mother Nature agrees. It's about the best weather I've seen in London this whole week. So, you know, the teams really kind of enjoyed the week in London, and weather obviously has been a big part of it. So,
do you get the sense that from top down, Trent, Doug, team really has embraced what this is, and that's part of it? You have to embrace it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was, you know, I was at the practice yesterday, talked to a lot of them, and they were, all of them, you know, excited to get done like by 1 o'clock and head to the city. So absolutely, they're enjoying it. A lot of them, obviously, their family members came over and are staying in the city so they can connect with them on the off time. So,
you have been involved in so many different facets, business, now sport. Is there anything that changes kind of the mood of a building, a city, a fan base, a locker room, like a win or a loss in the NFL?
I think winning, when it all comes down to it, it's all about winning. And no, there's no substitute for that.
Which made this week a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. And winning on Sunday will make the plane ride better. Okay, so we all know that.
That's how it happens. Yeah. I asked you a little this on Sunday when we talked to you. 2013, you start this a decade ago. Has this trip to London for branding of the organization, branding of the city of Jacksonville, has it worked in your eyes, in which ways over the last 10 years?
Well, I think it's absolutely worked. And I think not only in my eyes, I think in everyone's eyes. And so I think you were there. I impromptu kind of crashed Mayor Deegan and Mayor Khan's you know, chat. And that's what they were talking about, that how it's worked for London, how it's worked for the city of Jacksonville. And, you know, Mayor Khan was reminding Donna that 10 years ago, no one in London knew what Jacksonville was. Well, they do now. And I think the you know, across the pond activity we've had with companies and really the jobs created in Jacksonville, that's all a fact now.
Yeah, that was looking at that conversation, and you could sense there was some joy about, from Mayor Shad Khan and also obviously now Mayor Donna Deegan, about what could still transpire from direct flight to Jacksonville potentially down the road, and more business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a flight that's not just for the Jaguars, okay? It's not just for the one game, it's for year-round. Yes, some leisure, but more importantly for business travel and growth for the city of Jacksonville.
A decade later, I was thinking of how bold was the move to come to London when this all started? Now, in hindsight, it's worked in your eyes, maybe in the NFL's eyes as they've grown their footprint, but was it a bold concept at the time?
Well, I think it was definitely, you know, out of the box thinking that we had challenges. If you go back at that time, so how do we build our fan base? How do we become relevant? How do we, you know, economically make it something that's sustainable? How do we make it a stronger franchise for the NFL? So I mean, you know, there are three parties, obviously us, city, and the NFL. So, and we have to do our part growing the pie. That's how the NFL model works. What we're doing for national, international revenue. So, I mean, that was probably the obvious choice, but yes, different, and it's turned out great, in my opinion.
What does it look like with the NFL, not specifically the Jaguars, the NFL internationally, 5-10 years down the road, maybe further, with now games being played in Germany and more games being played in London, this 2-week attempt here with your football team? Is there more expansion, growth potential with the NFL and the globe?
Well, I think you look at the appetite, obviously, tickets, you were at the Wembley crowd, record crowd, and and really into the game. And it's obviously a great sense of joy for me to see more and more of the fans obviously wearing, Jags gear. And that's happened over time. But I think the game is growing, and and I think it's great for Jacksonville, and it's great for the league.
You referenced Mayor Donna Deegan, and I had a chance to sit down with her here in London last week, and she seems confident that something will get done when it comes to the stadium renovation. What's your confidence level at right now?
Well, I think my confidence level is high. I think she understands, obviously what it means to the city and how the Jaguars can help the city, in achieving the goals she has and really the average person in the city does.
How important is the stadium versus or the economic development, the downtown development piece of this being together?
I think it's really important. I think, just getting the stadium done is really just, is just a small part. You need both of those. And in the 11 years, I've been in the city, we've talked about really having a vibrant downtown, and I think this conversation started probably decades before that. So this is our chance. I mean, this is, I think, a great opportunity to kind of capture that. Doing them individually, piecemeal, hasn't quite worked. And this is one way to really have, just a big bang here to start the initiative and put it behind us.
Four Seasons is going to begin in, I think, next year. Yeah. What's that like for you, who you've been wanting that shovel in the ground downtown? What's it like to know that that's on the horizon?
Well, I think it's great. I think it's great for the city. And that is, the number one comment I've heard from people who've been to the city, okay? That where did they go? Looking for, a higher end, better experience, downtown on the river. River is a great asset, very underutilized. So this combines all of those, and, living, obviously on the river. So it's great. It's, it's been many, many years of hard work trying to get to this point. It's great to be there.
I don't think I've ever asked you this, but I've always thought about it. How much of what you're trying to do in Jacksonville comes from a perspective of your story, of being an underdog? Yeah. Everybody knows your story now. Yeah. But Jacksonville was an underdog to get an NFL team. Jacksonville's been an underdog many times to keep an NFL team. Is there an element of that involved in what you've been trying to do?
Well, I mean, for me, it's, really how do we, the hand is dealt, how do we make it better? And it's NFL is, you want to win a game, like we've talked about, win a lot of games, but then making a difference in the community on non-game days, I think, is where the real power is. Changing people's lives, changing communities. I think there are very few entities like the NFL that can do that. The platform it gives you on, many, many important things. So for me, it's all about wherever we are, we want to make it better, play a role. I mean, you have an institution like the NFL, and then the ability to, obviously co-invest and make the area better.
These things can be hard to push forward, as you know. Overall, the feeling around, it might be a little difficult, but there's momentum for it to happen. Yep. Which one do you feel?
No, I mean, I think, I think we have momentum, and, we want to get it done, but I'm optimistic, obviously. But it's like anything else. It's not done till it's done.
If it gets approved and you take it to the league, you need 24 out of 32 owners to approve it. Yeah. Is that part going to be a challenge at all?
Well, I think, frankly, that's one thing we're doing is, kind of sharing with the city what the league's expectations might be, because our desire is not to be, having trial balloons with the league, and it's just We don't want to be taking a step forward and 2 steps backward. I mean, we want to have something when we get to that point that you know, I've had the privilege of serving on several committees, finance committee and so on, which play a role in it. I mean, we want to get a reality check before we present it and having a high degree of confidence that it's going to get approved. You
know these folks well. You've been around them a decade as part of this NFL fraternity, if you will. Is it admirable what you're doing in Jacksonville? Do they think you're crazy for trying to make it work in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I think what we have to do is come up with, you know, a compelling case where it's good for the league. So I mean, that's what we're working on.
Did you get Trevor Lawrence anything for his birthday? 24 years old yesterday.
Yes, he was, and it was great to see 80 guys singing happy birthday, okay, so at the end of practice. So it was wonderful to be a part of it.
When you drafted him #1 overall a couple years ago, is this what you thought you were getting?
Yeah, I think maybe even better than I thought we were getting. You know, he had a great reputation, and you know, I met him on Zoom. Obviously, that was COVID the very first time, and then, you know, met him in person. And I think you know, he's a great football player and probably even a better human being. You know, so.
A lot of big contracts coming up with these quarterbacks. He might be next in line next year. You might have a stadium contract and a quarterback contract in 2024. Where is that? Did those conversations already begin on potentially extending Trevor?
Well, I mean, Trevor is part of our long-term plan for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, you know, that time will be after the season is over. I think, you know, you don't think about those things right now. Right now, our goal is to win, obviously win games, win the division, and get in the playoffs. I mean, that's what we aspire to.
How much do you enjoy being a dad?
Hey, that's been awesome. I think anyone who's had kids knows, you know, the pleasures, the joys, and at times the challenges of being a dad, you know, so.
That being said, your 2 children are doing very well and kind of in their own little worlds right now. Yeah. I guess from a dad standpoint, how proud of what they have done, are doing, continue to do, are you?
Well, I mean, for me, it's ultimate, you know, that as a parent, you want to give the kids foundation and you want to see them succeed. And, you know, my parents did that with me, okay? Different circumstances, and, you know, it turned out great for me, and, you know, obviously gave them a sense of joy and satisfaction. I feel the same way, you know, that they find the niche, our kids find the niche, and, you know, they're grown, responsible adults, you know.
Do you learn stuff from them?
Yeah, you learn stuff from everyone. The day you stop learning, you're dead. So I learn from them, I learn from you, I learn from anyone I come in contact with.
I said this to someone on Sunday after we did an interview. Yeah. And I don't know if I accurately depicted it or not, but I've been around you a decent amount in the last decade, and I said, I don't know if I've ever seen him so relaxed. Yeah. The smile may be as big as I did on Sunday. Is there something to that? Is there a different kind of contentment at 73 years old and where you're at than maybe even recently?
Well, I think it's, you know, football, I mean, and a lot of things in life, certain things you control. There are other things you don't control. And I think we want to be focused on things you control, and then you want to be able to come up with a good outcome. And you know, certainly I think football and the rest of my life, you know, we are in a good place. But we've always been, to be, you know, honest. I think you have your health, then you manage the rest.
And I wonder if some of that, at least around the football stuff, is that you feel like you've got it with Trent, Doug, and Trevor.
I think so. I think we have, you know, I think I mean, we have the pieces, or we've cracked the code here for winning football. And there are a lot of competitive teams in the league, we know that, but we want to be one of them. I think we are there.